Dhumavati. The smoke that clouds, reveals, remains. Today, I think, is a day for Dhumavati. A MahaVidya, which is to say a great wisdom or revelation. You can see the coterminous linguistic particle there with Vidya, connected to the idea of seeing, of truths being revealed. This is an aspect of Devi. This form of the goddess is often regarded as being somewhat of a baleful potency, and potency for that matter, and with a poignant array of associations linking her most strongly to death, the cremation ground, and dissolution, and it is not at all hard to see why. Yet as with several other aspects of Mataji, a surface fixation of the outward signifiers of the goddess obscurates a deeper and far more compassionate side to her. That is much more readily apparent to the ardent devotee in need. It is true that both her name and her nature derive ultimately from the funerary pyre, Dhuma, itself literally referring to smoke, and the various creation, or I suppose the emanation or revelation myths for the aspect tending to hinge around exactly this concept. In one, for instance, she is regarded as being all that remains, as visible and non-dispersed, or off-pursuing reincarnation, anima, of Lady Sati, after the latter's self-immolation at the ill-fated horse sacrifice of Daksha. In another, she is ultimately revelated at the final pralaya, the unravelling, the dissolution, the burning of the universe itself, as all that remains there too, in a manner akin to Shiva, to Kali, re-transcending back as the rising smoke from the pyre of creation at large to Adiparashakti, so that the whole process might potentially restart anew. These dual narratives themselves reveal a fundamental paradox to the nature of Dhumavati. In the latter instance, she is the transcension of what had gone before, and the moving on from the fires of destruction to better, brighter things, eventually. In the former, however, she is the exact opposite, the lingering and the harbouring of a burning anguish, the resentment for that which had been done in the course of the blaze's ignition and previous. This duality is also conveyed in the customary iconography of Dhumavati, at once being presented amidst the smashana, the ritual cremation ground, a signifier of that aforementioned moving beyond, in a certain sense, the sailing of the Leth, the smoke representing also a barrier to the harmful lingerings of memory, a pleasant and useful illusion. In that particular regard, which is also truth, insofar as it helps to establish the insubstantial nature of the fundamental fabric of the world, a byproduct of the actual, eternal burning fire of Vrita at and beyond its core, yet also accompanied most frequently by at least one corvid, and more often by more than one, crows and ravens being for us the Pitras, the souls of the ancestors, and therefore, as Yamadutas, emissaries from beyond the veil of ash and smoke, as well as very living, in a certain sense, embodiments of the memory, the heritage, and the continuity of our people and our memory, even beyond the transitory bounds of death. A most intriguing goddess, who is at once both that which remains, and therefore closer than almost any to the eternal, the truth, yet also whose very form and substance, that is the opposite of this, being the insubstantive smoke that otherwise clouds and occludes and obscurates what is more rarely real beyond its pall. Dhumavati is therefore prayed to by the devotee for, amongst other things, the relief of moving past prior harms and woundings, for such ultimately is life and age and samskara, through death, transcension, and most necessary occluding in the meantime, but also for the deeper revelations, those which actually, to my mind at least, are what is fundamentally necessary for the empowerment of wisdom and the ongoing ascent to a more truly take place. Smoke may sting the eyes, a facility for which in concert with her mastery of illusions, Dhumavati is most potent, also, in combat with the demons and their lies. It may even bring us to tears, yet with the right perceptions, it can tell us things, one of which, perhaps most importantly, is that, if properly followed and guided and favoured, the pathway goes ever up from here. There is a hoped for, acute sensation, when contemplating the widow goddess, that death is not the end, only the end of illusion and pain. Jai Dhumavati, Jai Mata Di.